How do I open all the locks in the city? With this gun in my hand.
Thank you, everyone. Let's bring it down. Tone down the celebratory gunfire a little bit, please. I'm so glad you could join me for Parabellum City's centennial celebration. The mayor couldn't be with us today, and none of the city aldermen were available. I'm the highest-ranking elected member of city government who is not preparing to be indicted for embezzling, bribery, or other forms of corruption. My name is Petra. I'm the county clerk and registrar of deeds. To prevent this from being a long, boring history lecture from me, I've brought along someone to help break up the monotony of my voice. This is Lloyd Rosen. Who better to represent Parabellum City than a reformed criminal turned entrepreneur? You may have met him if you've had newsletters or pamphlets or legitimate skee-ball tickets printed at his successful printing shop. Lloyd, let's talk about our great city.
Miss Wojciechowicz, it was 100 years ago today, in the year 1839, when a land speculator halted his horse near this spot where we stand. Henraldo Founder had left Piscataway, New Jersey, planning to make a new life in Minnesota. When he arrived here, he decided this was far enough. With the help of his friend Gitchie Horton and a Potawatomi guide woman by the name of Wasika or Wachaki, he built a lean-to in a stand of trees.
That first building site is thought to have been somewhere near today's intersection of Verve Street and Telegraph Road. Founder declared this new land he had found to be Newfoundland. Later residents would call it Parabellumburg. Soon there were brawls over whether it should be Parabellumville or Parabellumopolis. When the first post office opened in the area, it was registered as Parabellum City.
And that settled that. The name comes from the Latin root words para, meaning protect against or prepare for, and bellum, meaning war. Gitchie Horton, the co-founder of the settlement, always expected to be attacked. He was a disagreeable fellow who often had been attacked during his lifetime, more often by family members or people who knew him than the Native Americans he feared.
Perpetually preparing for war. That's not just a good policy for nations. It also makes sense at the regional or state levels. Who can forget our war with Ohio, and we don't even share a border with them? It makes sense at the county or city levels. Even your home or your person. You should be prepared for home invasion, or from attack by someone living within your home. Anyone could be out to get you. Prepare to defend yourself from yourself.
In fact, if all humans on Earth were wiped out by some kind of worldwide rocket accident, or unleashing a deadly gas never before known, leaving only you, alone for eternity, you should still prepare for war. You can never tell. There might be some reptilians who develop intelligence due to the effects of the gas. Or the surface world could be conquered by the cannibalistic humanoid underground fellers with their ululating fungi.
Getting back to our history,
we skip past the history of the colonizers, forcibly removing Native Americans from this area to Western territories just a few decades later.
The history of industry. Industries formed rapidly in Parabellum City. First manufacturers of gun barrels, later tabletop games and pinball machines. Thankfully, we know these industries will keep growing for decades or centuries to come. There's no danger of business owners looking for cheap labor in other countries, closing factories here, decimating manufacturing across this great nation.
Certainly not, Petra. Their markets would dry up. American consumers wouldn't trust poorly regulated products manufactured elsewhere. But if that did come to pass, I'm sure that American workers would stand in solidarity with their brothers and sisters overseas, demanding fair wages and fair working conditions everywhere. They would see beyond their personal interests and realize that their own liberation is incomplete until everyone is liberated.
What an imagination you have, Lloyd. Americans behaving that way? Of course, we would be remiss if we neglected to mention the largest modern industry to grow in Parabellum City, fighting crime. Unfortunately, fighting crime is necessary because the industry of crime is so large.
As you know, Petra, it's hard to put a price tag on crime fighting. On the one hand, heroes save citizens' lives and uncover graft in the political system, saving our tax dollars. But they don't actually generate money. Still, many crime fighters seem to have thousands of dollars to throw around, leading to speculation that they're actually wealthy citizens under those masks.
Perhaps some of them pretend to be effete, carefree playboys in their civilian lives. That strategy has been around at least since the Scarlet Pimpernel appeared on stage in 1903.
Given all the costumes and gadgets that crime fighters need, new gases to knock out or bewilder enemies, and all the ammunition they use, crime fighters have created a wave of prosperity in local textiles, tailoring services, chemistry, engineering, and gunsmithing.
And so, knowing that ever-increasing prosperity awaits us next year, throughout the next decade, and forever onward, unlimited financial growth extracted from limited resources, we march proudly towards the next item on today's agenda of celebration.
We'll return to the next item on today's agenda after a word from our sponsor.
Hello, I'm Harlan Scabrels, spokesman for the National Rifle Manufacturers Association. Parabellum City's favorite pastimes are guns, pinball, and gambling. It would be hard to put all of those together in one activity, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. The National Rifle Manufacturers Association has pioneered a way to combine guns with exciting high-stakes gambling. First, take a revolver, open the cylinder, and load one live round. Then close the cylinder, spin it, and press the muzzle against your...
Who let him in the studio? Never mind, hand me that other commercial script. No, the fruity one. Thanks. You trudge along the grim streets of our city. The groundhog saw its shadow last week, so spring is a long way off. You pull your trench coat tighter around you. A young girl, maybe 8 years old, stands at the end of an alley, shivering in a tattered dress. She says, "Apple, mister? 5 cents." Her small, shaking hand clutches a basket of half-shriveled apples, some of them touched by snow. You reach into your pocket, but all you find are dimes. Sorry, kid, maybe next time. And you walk on. But you don't see her at that corner next time. Has she succumbed to the elements? Did she waste away because she had nothing to eat but apples? Was your lack of a nickel the nail in her coffin? What you need is the Apple Card, a new financial instrument designed specifically for micropayments to waifs on street corners selling select fruit. By transmitting messages through Apple Card's network of street urchins kept on retainer, even vendors who have no telephone are able to verify that you have adequate finances remaining on your account, which means they can sell you that apple. Save the lives of desperate children with Apple Card, because individual rich people deciding how much to donate is the only effective way to address poverty. Terms and conditions apply, not for use with vendors of flowers, pears, citrus, pencils, watches, wind-up toys, or other goods or services not outlined in the agreement, including some apple varieties. We now return to Parabellum City Passes a C-Note, the 100th episode of This Gun in My Hand. Indefatigable hero by virtue of the fact that he carries a gun, Falk Zildjian stands at the corner of the outdoor stage, engaged in a struggle. But against whom or what is he struggling?
How much longer must this go on, Petra?
That's it! I've got you, you stupid... rope? Whew. Thanks for helping me tie down the corner of this banner, Falk.
My pleasure. Did we have to pull it that tight?
I didn't want it to come loose again during the presentation. Thank you for your patience, folks. Like any place, Parabellum City has good and bad aspects. But I hope you can see all the good things about our city, and I hope you love them as much as I do. I'm not here to paint a utopian picture or feed you a line of malarkey. The word malarkey comes from the root words mal, meaning bad, and archy, meaning government. That's a load of bad government.
The kind of bad government that participates in Indian removal, or encouraging war profiteering among its gun manufacturers, or...
The next item on our agenda is showing appreciation for Parabellum City's greatest crime fighter. A mysterious man, able to draw his firearm so quickly, some people claim he summons it out of thin air, just by pronouncing his catchphrase,
This gun in my hand.
I'm not done with your introduction.
Sorry.
There are even stories, legends you might say, about villains testing this hero's amazing ability to make his gun materialize in his hand. According to one account, a villain wanted to ensure that he wasn't hiding his weapon under his armpit or in a secret pocket in his clothing. So they stripped him naked.
That's more of a smear than a legend.
And still, when he was prompted with a question, he replied with that catchphrase and his gun appeared in his hand. You know him, you love him, unless you're a criminal. I give you Falk Zildjian!
Hi, everybody.
On behalf of the citizens and the unindicted members of the municipal government of Parabellum City, I would like to present you with this key to the city.
I don't know what to say. I'm shocked that you'd consider me the greatest crime fighter in the city. Almost makes me wonder if Emerald Ash Borer or the Phantasm were too busy to accept this honor, so you kept going down your list until you came to me.
No, what a silly thing to say.
I'll show you silly. The clownish purple and green outfit, those bells dangling from the tentacles on his hat. It can only be Shia. That's right, Flak Zilchman. It's me, the Juster. The Juster? Are you trying to call yourself the Adjuster? Some kind of insurance man or wicked chiropractor? No, the Juster. Like Court Jester? Why would a chiropractor wear a cap with bells on it? Because criminals are lousy at picking costumes. They don't bother creating a unified theme. Crime fighters aren't great at it either. What are you supposed to be? Trench coat and fedora man? Aren't you usually setting traps for Matban and Roberta, the Caped Caperers? Not anymore. I killed them last week. So I needed a new goody two-shoes to fight. You're not much of a challenge, but I couldn't resist this treasure. Right, you tied them up and left them in some contraption that would kill them if they didn't escape. Then you walked away laughing and they got loose at the last minute. Kinda like that, except I decided to stick around for a change. I grabbed Roberta when she broke loose, so she couldn't untie Matban. I saw him fall in the giant sausage grinder. Guys, you do not want to see how laws are made. I thought about letting her go, but I didn't want to be a new origin for her, where she'd go off somewhere to train harder and come back to get revenge on me. She is now also a string of smoky links. Oh, always the jokester. No, it's true. Always the liar? I didn't feel obligated to be honest with people I don't respect, but it's true in this case.
What are you doing here, you monster?
I heard you're giving away the key to the city, and I've come to collect it. Hand it over or I'll release a poison gas that will kill half this crowd.
It's not that big a crowd.
Why aren't they running away after they heard me? I figured there'd only be a few frightened children left.
So many gases have been released in Parabellum City, they probably think they're immune. Or they're still dazed from the last gassing.
Don't test me. Give me the key or I will kill citizens.
You'll have to fight Falk Ziljan for it.
Now, just a minute. I try to avoid fights and talk people down when possible. Really, yes.
When have you ever...
You can have the key if that's what it takes to prevent violence. Here. I can't believe you're just handing it over. Now my real crime spree can begin. With this, I can open any door in Parabellum City.
It doesn't work like that.
Your reverse psychology won't work on me. Everybody knows the key to the city unlocks every door and lock within the city. I can rob banks, burglarize any home or business, read people's diaries, listen to them gossiping about me. The opportunities are limitless.
I'm sorry, Jester, but that's a lot of hooey. From the root words hoo-ha, meaning an instrument developed in Persia for smoking tobacco, and ooh-wee, meaning a consarn rattlesnake just bit you in the flap of your union suit.
You can't fool me. The key to the city is like a plaque or an award, something to hang up in your living room or your secret hideout. Look at the thing, it's 1.5 feet long. What keyholes would that fit into? I don't know, I thought it was magic. That hat you're wearing must be affecting your brain, or maybe you're huffing too much of your own gas. This hat is going to catch on. Everybody's going to be wearing them for about 2 years in the next century. I'll take your word for it. I'll trade this jester hat for your official Falk Ziljan fedora. No thanks. Whoa! What's this? Get it off me!
It appears to be a net composed of thick, rubbery ropes, like the kind circling a boxing or wrestling ring. The kind only used by...
Madman! And stepping out of the crowd alongside him is his young ward, Roberta. That's a good bit of luck. You two arrived just in time.
Luck had nothing to do with it. I sent him a message using my Apple Card.
Is there some kind of miniature wireless transmitter embedded in the card?
No, the Apple thing uses kids to carry messages back and forth from vendors and banks. While you were bantering with the jester, I found a street urchin in the audience and told him to check the credit on my Apple Card account. The bank address I gave him was the Mat Cave, secret headquarters of Matban. The note said to come quick and haul away my enemy.
Good thinking, Petra. He's all yours, Matt. Take him away.
The name's Matban. If you don't say both parts, it dilutes the branding.
Speaking of apples, do you at least have some of those fruit pies from the comic book ads so I can have a moment of joy as you're hauling me away?
Quiet, you. That's all the time we have, folks. Unless you have some closing remarks, Falk?
Be good. Stay safe. Listen to your mother.
The closest I can get to a date with you is getting a cup of coffee together. But can you at least escort me across the street to the county building? I want to keep a copy of this speech in my files.
Sure.
Well, it wouldn't be a normal day in Parabellum City without some lawbreaker crashing the party. At least the day ended well.
The day's not over yet.
Oh, Falk, Do you mean?
That's right. I'll be on patrol. Maybe I'll catch a bigger criminal tonight.
Oh. Here we are at the county building. Let me just, wrestle this awkward thing out of my handbag.
That's funny. Why is there a mail slot next to the front door? I would have thought the mailman would deliver a sack to a mailroom and they'd redistribute it to offices throughout the building. Hey, you have a key to the city too. I don't remember hearing about that. Did they have a quieter ceremony when they gave you one? Why are you putting it in the mail slot? So that's it. The jester was telling the truth.
Almost. The key to the city doesn't open every lock, just the doors to city government buildings. But keep it under your hat, okay?
Sure, under my official Falk Zildjian fedora. Parabellum City passes a C-note. Episode 100 of This Gun in My Hand was founded and passed by Rob Northrop, who would like to remind you that This Gun in My Hand is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual events, places, financial instruments, or persons, living or dead, is entirely coincidental. This episode and all others are available on YouTube with automatically generated closed captions of dialogue. Visit thisguninmyhand.blogspot.com for credits, show notes, archives, information on how to subscribe, and to buy my books, such as Little Heist in the Big Woods and other revisionist atrocities. What will I use to get a message to the bank? This gun in my hand!